Yo, what's up, guys? Jumpin here, and today we are going to be doing the Batarian Sentinel again. But oh man, did they give him a beastly update. Alright, so the gun I'm going to be using is a Talon 10. A little bit different this time. I'm actually going to be using piercing and extended caliber. The reason why for the piercing and not the extended magazine is because I need piercing on the gun. I can't, with this particular build, I don't really like using, to be honest, I really don't like using armor piercing. I like to use disruptor ammo. Alright, now for the build, blade armor at 3. You could reset that to get that totally off if you want, but I leave it at 3, whatever. Shockwave, I like radius, just because without this, it's really tough to hit enemies sometimes. And then I go for reach. Now, this is a more selfish kind of way to go about it. You could go for detonate just in case your teammates are using some type of adapt or something. But I think reach is better for your personal self, and detonate's definitely better for your team. So it's really up to you. If you're going to be playing with a team that's going to be using that kind of stuff, definitely go for that. Now for the thing that got super updated, submission net. And I'll get into that in the gameplay primarily. Alright, for the first one, I actually went for damage. Then I went for damage and slow, which is pretty good. Damage and slow target armor targets, not bad, honestly. But the best one out of all of them is electrical field. Oh my god, this got a nice buff. 303 damage across 6 meters for every 1 second. Now if I was going to change anything about this, and I would maybe recommend this, is that I was thinking maybe I should have went for incapacitate. The reason why is because you want this to stay longer, so that, because like this net doesn't dissipate when you kill an enemy. So that would actually help with that. I don't get into that in the gameplay. Now for the Batarian Enforcer, I go for weapons damage. Now, I wouldn't recommend this if you don't have like a high level Talon like me. So because I have it at 10, I still have 200%, but you need a lot of recharge with this guy. Then I like power damage and ammo. Like I said, you need a lot of recharge with this guy. That's pretty much the point. And for fitness, just all shields and health, which they also did update this week, which is awesome. Because now if you take a look, he has 1,425 health and 1,425 shields. That is crazy good. Alright, now for the equipment I'm going to be using, Disruptor Rounds 4, just because like I said, this guy's going to be all about tech and tech bursting. Pistol Rail Amp 3 for more damage. Pistol Amp 5, just because more pistol damage, why not? And then finally Cyclonic Modulator 3, because even with the decent amount of health and shields, he still does need shields. Alright, so let's get into the gameplay. Now, here's the thing, guys. Oh my god, I love the Batarian Sentinel now. You know, a long time ago, when he first came out, I really liked him. And then my views kind of changed. I kind of went back to the Turian. Then the Paladin came out, and definitely the Paladin was definitely my favorite Sentinel in the game for a long time. But I can honestly say now, I think I like this guy the best now for Sentinel. Mainly just because, yeah, he's a beast. Submission net is so much better now. Oh, man. The main thing they did with submission net, which I didn't talk about before, is the recharge speed. With 200% now, which is what I got with this Talon, with 200% now, it is 1.8 seconds, something like that. That's stupid fast. So what that's really going to do, because like, here's the thing, guys. Submission net sometimes will miss, and it's kind of annoying, to be honest. But that's really not the point, because if you do hit him with the submission net, that's like an instant tech burst. You just hit him with the net, then you hit him with the shockwave, boom, tech burst. If not, if you have a gun like the Scorpion or the Talon, you can set up your own tech burst very easily. You know, the Scorpion also does work on this build if you want to try that. But like I said, so that's the main thing, is that, yeah, you just get tech burst from your ammo, from your disruptor ammo, and you get tech burst from your submission net. And it's crazy good. Now, right away in this gameplay, we're going to have some issues. And as you can see right here, we have 4 people playing with us. It's me, my buddy Chocolate Milk, my buddy Drew, and another guy who was in the clan and just decided to play with us. Now, here's the thing, though, guys. Oh man, we're going to have some serious issues this game, honestly. The main one is that Drew's going to lag out because he always has problems with his console. and then he's not going to be able to get back in until like pretty much like wave 6. And then by the time he gets back in, guess what, guys? He's going to lag out again. And yeah, it sucks. So pretty much this is a 3-man gold, the biggest majority of the game. And that's it, pretty much. So the whole game, we're going to 3-man it. But it's not a big deal. It's kind of, this game is definitely chaotic and really actually fun to watch just because it's so crazy. I mean, people are getting dropped left and right. I'm freaking submission netting everything and killing everything, and my buddies are just we're fighting for our life, honestly, because it was not easy, to be quite frank. But alright, so let me get back onto the Batarian Sentinel, because I hope you can tell I'm really excited, and I really love the Batarian Sentinel now. Alright, so the main thing, like I said, the submission net recharge speed is the best thing that happened, really. The damage upgrade, I don't really care for the damage. That's one of the reasons why I would recommend the Incapacitate. Now, the thing about Incapacitate that makes it good is the electrical field. Now, the way it works, guys, if you don't know, because I didn't know this for a long time either, is that when you submission net an enemy, after you kill the enemy, the net actually will stay on them. Now, it will fade after the 5 seconds. With Incapacitate, it's 9 seconds. When Incapacitate, it is 9 seconds. So what's great about that, actually what's amazing about that, is that that's 9 seconds that it will be on the ground. Really, that's all you need. You really just want to have that net on the ground next to all the enemies, and you can just keep shockwaving and shooting and trying to set up tech bursts with your ammo. And with the 300 damage per second, I mean, it's literally, guys, the electrical field is 300 damage per second. You will just blow through the enemies. I mean, it just wrecks them. So that is the main thing that is really going on here. It's just the fact, it's really just the combined fact that the submission net got just massive upgrade, and well, the Batarian Sentinel is godly. And honestly, guys, I love Shockwave. I absolutely love Shockwave. I think it's a great power. I don't know why people hate on it. I can never figure that out. Shockwave is by far one of my favorite powers in the game, to be honest. I just think it's really good for recharge speed. It's really good for stunning. It's really good for knocking down. It's really good for hitting annoying enemies like phantoms. It's just a good power. It does okay damage, and it's great for detonating explosions or tech bursts. And that's what this guy's all about. It's going to be the tech burst. And if you combine him with a team, let's say you're setting up tech bursts and your teammates are setting up explosions, that is a force to be reckoned with right there. So that is the thing. Batarian Sentinel is awesome, and I love him. Now, there's a couple things you can do with this guy. Like I told you before, you could try him with the Scorpion Pistol. I actually was running around with that. And I do have to say, as much as I kind of hated on the Scorpion, I'm not going to say I like the gun, but I will say that it is amazing at setting up tech bursts. If a lot of you guys may know that already. I just feel that the Scorpion is such a good gun for camping / sitting back and chilling Firebase White, all that kind of good stuff like that. I know that gun to me is one of the best, but when it comes down to running around, being aggressive up in their face, the Scorpion, it's too slow. To me, the better choice is Talons, just because it's close range. I like to run to their face. This guy is, pretty much kind of about close range combat, but you can also set him up for different stuff. Now, the thing about the Talon and the Scorpion, that the reason why I'm using the Talon and the reason why I'm talking about the Scorpion is because with Disruptor ammo, these guns are super good at setting up tech bursts. And like I said, Shockwave is a great detonating power. So that's kind of the ideal for the most part. Besides the net, you'll have the Talon and the Disruptor ammo to pretty much do some decent all-round tech bursting damage. And that's just the thing. But there is another gun you could use, and it's pretty freaking good if you can set it up right. Now, unfortunately, you won't be able. I felt like this video was going to be way too long if I showed you the other build, but I could just talk about it a little bit. It's the Harrier version of this. You can strap a Harrier on, and yes, the Harrier is of course really good on the Batarian because you get the ammo bonuses and whatnot. That's pretty much the thing that's how I feel, at least, about the whole thing, is that with the ammo bonuses, yeah, it's awesome. So why not? Now, the way it works is that The Harrier is a heavier gun, obviously, than the Scorpion or the Talon. There's no way to get 200% with that. But there is a couple things, like I said, you can do. The first thing is that for the second field of the net, you do want to go for recharge speed, because it really will make a big difference if you can do that. And of course, I would definitely say go for damage and capacity, just because you do want the damage and capacity, because you do want, with this guy, I feel, you want as much recharge time as possible so that you can keep this godly submission net, you know, really quick cooldown. Because with the blade armor, you're gonna have to take into account that, yeah, you're gonna have a slower recharge, but it's only by 50%. And with the Harrier and stuff, yeah, it might be, you know, it's not gonna be like super long, but it's not gonna be super quick. So that's a couple of the things I want to make clear. So the Harrier is definitely a great gun with him. If you have the Harrier, I have my Harrier at 3. And with the gear for more ammo and the spare ammo that he gets, I believe I get about 125 extra shots plus the 36 in the clip. So the Harrier is definitely a great gun for this guy, and it's a lot easier to manage when you have more ammo. So that is something you can do. The main difference would just be you really do want to go for damage and capacity and recharge speed on the net. Because honestly, like I said, the damage on the net I could care less about. It's more about just locking the enemies up, make it so that they can't move. You can trap those annoying phantoms and make them pretty much useless. And of course, you can always detonate the net and get a tech burst. And that's really the true focal point of the net, is for getting tech burst. And then once the enemy's dead, if they do survive, well, not that they survive, but let's say there's enemies around that enemy that is dead that you recently just tech bursted. Well, the electrical field from that net on the ground will actually act as your just more damage if you can run away and pretty much kill. I mean, it's every 1 second, and that's what makes it so good, is the fact that it's 6 meters, 1 second. Not only hits one enemy at a time, but it's every freaking second, and it's good, believe me. Like, that's why I'm so. I mean, when I first heard what they did with the Batarian, I looked at it. I had a big ol' nerdgasm, just because I like the Batarians a lot, and I feel like the Batarian Sentinel has been just lacking, and it's unfortunate because I like the Batarians. I think the Batarians are pretty cool, but yeah, it's just the thing, guys. Alright, so another thing they have done, which is awesome, is they have given the Batarians and the Turians more health and shield bonuses from fitness. Now, the base is the same, but the bonuses are bigger, so you do, of course, want to still get fitness. That's a must with the Batarian and a must with the Turian, in my opinion. The main thing that about it that makes it, you know, the reason why you want the fitness is, well, I don't know what I'm saying. I'm saying the reason why, but I'm just going to try and tell you the numbers. Well, the numbers that has been changed is that now, with the Batarian, you get 1,425 health and 1,425 shields. That is awesome, because he is just more tankier than ever. And with the upgrade to blade armor, now you get the 25% damage reduction with like a Cyclonic 4. You get 150% more shields. I mean, he's really tough to kill. And that was one of the biggest beefs I also always had with the Batarian. I just felt like, with all the health, with all the shields, he just still always felt somewhat flimsy to me. Just flimsy. Now, I can honestly say he's not flimsy at all anymore. He is straight tanky as hell. The only thing that has more health than him is a Krogan Vanguard. That's it. I'm pretty sure the Krogan Soldier and Sentinel does not have as much health as the Batarian now, which is insanity. So yeah, the Batarian Sentinel now is super good, like I said. And the other thing about the Turian is, now the Turian, one of my biggest beefs with the Turian was that the fact that he had decent shields, not good shields, but decent shields. But the biggest problem with the Batarian was, I'm not the Batarian, but the Turian, I know it's confusing, guys, a lot of ends. But the Turian always had human health, decent shields. So that's pretty mediocre. That's how I always felt about it. Really mediocre. Decent shields, not like fantastic shields, and human health. Now, with these upgrades, he does have good health, 909 950 health, and 1425 shields. So overall, it is a great buff. I love this update. I'm glad BioWare is doing some buffing and not debuffing, because that is exactly what they need to do. They need to look at, all the different characters in the game that need some type of lift, some type of buff, and make them more usable. I can honestly say I will definitely be playing with the Batarian Sentinel a lot more now, just because it's fun. It's good. He works on any difficulty. He would work on platinum and everything. If you can aim the net right, you can be godly with this guy, and that is the key. Now let me go ahead and get into that, because I know a lot of you guys are going to be interested in this gameplay / the way that you should try to play your Batarian Sentinel. Now, a couple things. Obviously, the biggest advantage that you'll ever have, or the best thing about submission net, is the fact that you can trap these fucking annoying phantoms. I mean, that's what Stasis is so good about, is that you can trap annoying phantoms. Well, now the submission net, you can do the same thing, but to me, it's a lot harder. Believe me, it's a billion times harder, but there's a lot of secrets to doing it, and now you'll see it in the gameplay / I'm going to tell you right now. The first thing about getting phantoms in the net, because obviously the lesser enemies like these Nemesis and combat engineers and I don't know, pyros, I'm not pyros, you can't actually net, but obviously like those kind of enemies, yeah. They're a lot easier to net than something like a phantom, and the phantom is the thing that you really want to get, because you don't want to deal with it. You want to make it super easy mode to kill them. So the couple secrets that you can use to really help you with trapping them is the first thing is that if you allow them to get super close range to you. Now there's only 2 secrets here, but if you allow them to get super close range to you and almost pretty much go for a melee, like they're swinging their sword to do a melee, if you can time it right, then you net, you will always trap them. You will, well, 99% of the time, you can trap them that way. And if I see it in the gameplay, I will call it out. And it's totally on purpose when I do that. Now, you take some risk when you do that, mainly because, well, of course, there's always that chance that she can stab you, but I wouldn't worry too much about it, just because as long as you can, he's so beefy now that he can definitely take that first melee. He has the blade armor to kind of back the phantom off. So overall, I think that it's a pretty effective strategy, and once they're netted, once you net them, it's over for them. You can shoot them a little bit, you can shockwave them, you can tech burst them, you can blow them the fuck up, and just be done with it. Now the other way is you have to time it. If you can time the net on a phantom, then you can always trap her in the net. What I mean by timing is that, let's say you're shooting a phantom. This is what I recommend. Shoot the phantom until it does one of its cartwheels or dodges. Or you can actually shoot the net at it, and 90% of the time it will just totally dodge the move. Like right there is a good example. And when she does her dodge, either by you shooting her or shooting your power, if you can use your submission net, which remember, if the recharge time is really good on submission net, if you can hit her with the net, then you will trap her. Like, she can't. A phantom obviously can dodge crap like crazy. I mean, they really can. They can dodge crap in this game, insanely good. And they can also absorb it. Now, if she absorbs it, there's nothing you can do, but it does give you time to at least unload on her fucking face. You can just start shooting her and shooting her and shooting her and shooting her. And if you do that, then that is definitely great. Whatever. Now, if you do it the other way, like I said, if you can time it right when she does a cartwheel, you just wait till after the animation of the cartwheel is done, you shoot out the net, you trap her, it's over for her. And that's really the 2 strategies. Now, and like I said, I'm not going to go over every single enemy, because most enemies are pretty easy. And one thing I've learned about submission net is that, as ridiculous as this is, because I kind of hate the way this works, is that if you shoot it from a further, to me, on normal enemies that don't dodge like phantoms, if you shoot it from somewhat more of a range, it will actually hit them a lot easier. I just don't know why. It just seems like it misses a lot more close range than far range. Now, you think it would be the opposite, obviously. You would think that from close range, it should never miss, because the travel time is a lot less, and from long range you would think it wouldn't miss a lot because the enemies have plenty of time to do like a roll or dodge out the way. But like I said, it's not really like that. It's pretty much the opposite. It seems a lot easier to hit them from either medium range or a little bit of a longer range. And medium range is pretty much like key. That's the thing. That's the best range in my opinion for trying to hit them. Now, the way I like I said, it's just the submission net has issues with just tracking and all that kind of good stuff. It really does. And it's unfortunate because otherwise it would be super good. Well, it is super good. It's just it would be a lot better if it didn't have these issues with like hitting the enemies. But it is still very possible to hit the enemies. It's not hard. Like I said, as long as you do it from more of a little bit of a medium range slash just hope that you can hit them, then you're good to go. And by trapping them, it's like a guaranteed kill. Like, it's over for them. It's like an enemy being in stasis. The biggest difference is that this is a stasis that can actually, A, miss, so that's the downside, and B, can actually recharge in like friggin' not even 2 seconds. So that's the thing that makes it good. It's that recharge time. It's just so godly now. They pretty much gave it the electrical slash old recharge time, which electrical slash recharge time was so good, and then they fucked it all up. The one last thing they did with this update, by the way, and right here I'm gonna get smoked finally. You know, it's one of those things, guys. You press that op pack and nothing happens. You're like, all right, cool. But anyway, guys, the last thing they did with the update, which was kind of like a whatever thing. It's good, they did it, but it's also like whatever. What they did was is that they actually went ahead and gave the base force of all vanguards, excluding the Krogan, they gave it all an extra 50 base damage. No, not damage, force. The reason why they did that is because now with every single vanguard in the game, you will have over 1,000, that was kind of a fail there, but you will have over 1,000 newtons, or newtons, I don't care, but yeah, you will actually have that limit, and that is the force threshold for Phantoms. And that's great, because now you can play any Vanguard you want, and the Vanguard against Cerberus is definitely going to be a lot better because Phantoms won't be able to just instant stab you. They will be staggered, they will be stunned, and they will be dead. So, that is a couple things. Pretty much like this whole video is, besides the fact I'm talking about the Batarian and how awesome he is, it's kind of just dedicated to Phantom killing. That's what I'm primarily talking about. But I just feel like, at this, I don't know, I just feel like out of all the enemies in the game, Phantoms are just the one enemy that they're the nightmare. Like, I rather deal with hunters and pyros and atlases and banshees. They're easy. Phantoms are just annoying. They dodge, they eat, they just do all these things, and that's the thing that normally will kill you. Yeah, of course they can kill you, but the thing that kills you is just the fact that it's so annoying to use certain things versus Phantoms, and I always found that submission net was always very annoying to use against Phantoms. I'm sure a lot of you guys out there have, thought, hey man, submission net seems like it'd be great against Phantoms, and you try it, you're like, this shit sucks, and then you just kind of gave up on it. I'm just trying to help you guys understand that it is really good, and if you do it right, it definitely will be worth doing. So, that is my main point. But besides that, guys, like I said, Batarian Sentinel is fucking awesome. And this gameplay is so chaotic, I've really hoped you have enjoyed it, because it is freaking crazy. The 3-man gold is, obviously it's not too hard, because 2-man gold, in my opinion, is not hard at all. And solo gold is not that hard either, unless you get shitty objectives. But 3-man gold in this situation, I don't know what it was, but we were just having some issues a little bit Well, actually, I wouldn't say I was having issues. More or less, my teammates were kind of having issues, and I was trying to help them. I mean, I don't remember what wave it was, but there was one wave where like my whole team used up like, or my other two teammates used up like all their metagels, and that was crazy because it was early on, and from that point on, I made sure that I was going to be the, I was going to get them up. I was going to fight real hard to get them up because I didn't want that. I just didn't want them to die. Now, right there is a great example. I let her come in close, and when she got in close, I waited to submission net her so that I could hit her. So that is the thing. And right here, I'm going to get dropped again, but whatever. And we're just going to keep going. Now, like I said, the whole thing with the dodging thing is that you just got to time it right, and it's just not too easy. Now, right here, my buddy Chocolate's going to bleed out. And I don't know why we're trying to bunker up down here. This is a terrible spot because the enemies can shoot down at you. You never want that. And I was like, yo, man, let's get the fuck out of here. Let's just move. But now there's a freaking turret right here. Now I was screaming at him, yo, dude, just reave it, bro. And like I don't know, for some reason I guess he heard throw on a bubble, and he did that instead. But I think he finally reaves it here in a second. But I gave up on it, so I was like, you know, I'm just gonna run out here and just take this thing out, because the important part at times, guys, you have to be able to read when it's time to move. Like holding down one spot or defending one spot / just being aggressive at one spot is good, but you got to be able to judge when it's bad, because when it's bad, you got to get the hell out of there. It's that simple. If you can move around the map and know the spots that are good for you and know the spots that are bad for you, that is really important to be good at this game. That's just the thing, guys. When I'm playing the game, I try to say, okay, I like this spot. I know I can fight well at this spot. I know I have the advantage at this spot. And then I'm at this spot, and all of a sudden I'm like, okay, I've lost my advantage. I'm getting flanked. There's too many enemies. I need help. So what do? I get the fuck out of there. I run. I run like hell to relocate to a spot that I feel will be an advantage to me. I mean, obviously this is pretty basic stuff, but I think a lot of you guys need a little bit of help at times with that. You know, so like I said, so that's just the way I like to play the game, guys, and that's one of the important things. I can't tell you every single spot, but I can tell you that you have to be the one to make the call, and you have to be the one to decide where you want to fight and where you don't want to fight. So, alright, so this is the extraction wave. And I guess I thought this gameplay was awesome. I really did. It was a little bit long, and it wasn't that easy, but it was definitely cool. It was definitely chaotic, and I think chaotic / like hardcore games like it might just be Jade. I don't really know, because the last gameplay on Jade, which was the Solarian S2G, that was freaking chaotic and crazy, and it was against Cerberus. This was against Cerberus, and oh my freaking god, it's ridiculous. So, right there, that whole little melee trick failed, but then I got her with the flip trick. So that's the two tricks, the melee trick and the flip trick. So I feel like I'm talking about freaking skateboarding, but whatever. Yeah, but that's the two secrets with submission net against those goddamn annoying phantoms. But yeah, I mean, it's amazing. Like, the Batarian Sentinel is just so good at doing tech burst now. So good. And he's always been pretty good, but now with that just quick recharge time, it's like the same as, imagine if Energy Drain had a 1.8 second recharge speed. Now, maybe it would be as consistent as Energy Drain, obviously, because submission net is not as efficient, but it is still whatever. Now, right here, this is a totally epic, crazy moment. This fucking douchebag Atlas smacked me out of the LZ. Ugh! Like, for real, I've never had that happen to me. That's so ridiculous. And if anything would have ever smacked me out of it, I would think it would be a Brute, not an Atlas. But the Atlas was like, pretty much like, bitch, shut the fuck up, and smacked me, knocked me out of it, and ruined my day. But it's whatever. But like I said, guys, Batarian Sentinel, godly awesome. Try him out. Turians, more health. Batarians, more health. Please comment, please like, all that good shit, and have a nice day.